Hey guys, today I want to talk a little bit more about changes. Changes in the infrastructure, financial, everything that's going on in the Philippines. And we're going to talk a lot about the Philippines today. Philippines is changing drastically. I noticed within like the past year since COVID kind of ended, what's been going on now is that there's a lot of money pouring in here. There's a lot of infrastructure stuff going on. They're building better roads, ones without telephone poles in the middle too, I might add, you know. I've also noticed that places like Makati, Alabang, also even around here in this city, a lot of housing projects are going up. A lot more building is going on. Even though like Tracy Matera is a shining example here, downtown where the capital of Cavite is, they're moving that soon to someplace else, and I guess they're probably going to tear that down. But they're moving all that to a different building, and I've seen them built where the building's going to be, and it's really changing the way that Tracy Materas is. And I'm kind of hoping that we kind of see a little bit of things start going downtown, maybe some higher buildings or something like that, just to kind of make it look a little bit more like a city on downtown. But in town, I think, like on the side streets and stuff like that, I don't think we're going to see that. I think we'll just see it downtown. I do think we're going to see some drastic changes, and I kind of like that. I kind of like watching change, and in some ways, I kind of like sticking and seeing it. You know, things stay the same. Now, even in my area here, my local area, things are changing here. Even on my street, I think Rich is going to be doing a video on that pretty soon. He's going to be showing us that. I think he said he was going to do that. If he doesn't, I'll do a video about that too. But you know, I was riding through Alabang. I noticed like a lot of different buildings going up, and I noticed a lot of the malls are doing very, very well. But here's the other thing, that in Manila, the changes in Manila have been so big and so phenomenal down there, in that I noticed in BGC, right in the Manila area, Quezon City's kind of staying the same, hasn't changed that much. It has changed a little bit. Not a lot of movement there. BGC area, a lot of movement, a lot of things going on there. And we've had, that's been for quite a while now. BGC has been really big. The other thing is Makati, Pasay, all these places have changed. I noticed a lot of buildings getting torn down, a lot of work getting done everywhere. Everywhere is all kinds of work going on. I noticed bridges getting built, highways getting built, trains extensions, things like that are all happening here in the Philippines. But the biggest thing I notice around here is that there's a lot more Western businesses going in. Not just restaurants, but stores, stuff like that. I notice it's really starting to, Western businesses are starting to say, hey, Philippines is a place I want to be. During COVID, a lot of places closed down, like Red Lobster and a few other Western businesses. They couldn't function because of the fact that the rules during the COVID were so tough on some of these businesses that they had to close, because you could only have like maybe 16 people in a place where normally you could serve like 100 or more, or 200. You know, I mean, now it's back to normal. It's back to normal. You go into Texas Roadhouse, it's crowded on weekends. It's even crowded there during the week sometimes, which is kind of surprising. During certain times, especially with this Easter week here, I'm sure all these malls are super crowded and everything. I mean, I'm seeing a lot more people pouring in here too. A lot more expats pouring in here, and it's changing the financial landscape here. And I see the Philippines as becoming like the next Singapore. And here's the biggest change is the Chinese are pouring in here as tourists. They're pouring in here to live because it's cheap living. It's cheaper than where they are probably, or they want to go retire and be around places that they like to be at. With Chinese people, they tend to like gambling a lot. They tend to like to go sit in some place and gamble, because a lot of times if you're a pretty good gambler, you can at least keep your money even. If you're a decent gambler, if you know what you're doing and you know how to play, you can usually keep most of your money. And Chinese are very, very savvy on how to gamble, and some of them aren't. We see a lot of Chinese up in those areas. When we're around those areas, you see a lot of Chinese people at the casinos. I see them getting out of their cars. When I'm driving by there, I see them going in, and they're very, very wealthy, well-to-do people that have lots of money. You can see it in their clothing, you can see it in their cars, and you can see it the way they spend at restaurants and stuff like that. Because I've sat near some of these people, and they eat very, very well. They're not really worried about their money at all. You know, they spend. That money has caused the Philippine growth to just go crazy. And it's not just Chinese money. I think it's American money coming in here. Americans are coming in here and they're spending money in droves, not just as tourists, but also people that live in here, people that are partially living here. They're kind of like partial tourists, I'd call them. You know, they spend 6 months in the U.S., 6 months over here. So I guess you could kind of say that they kind of live here 6 months, but they're still kind of actually a tourist because they pay their taxes back home. But this has changed everything, because the money around here, even though places like Tracy Martira's are pretty much still untouched by high prices as far as rents, I noticed the other places are going up in their rents and stuff. And a lot of people that are coming here now are saying, hey Steve, can I come down to your area? Can you show me around or whatever? And I really don't have as much time as I used to. So a lot of people I have to turn down and say, hey, I really can't show you down, but you're welcome to come down here and look around. You know, you can stop by for a second and visit me or whatever. We can chat for a few minutes. But a lot of people also move into Manila, BGC, these really high-end places. But it's very costly. It's not cheap to live up there. And after a while, I usually get a call within a year that, hey, Steve, BGC kind of getting boring here. I'm thinking about moving someplace else, more out in the country. Where can I go? And I tell them, hey, come on down here. I'll show you around, show you what you can get, what you can fix up. And some of these people that were living in $400 apartments, $600 apartments, when they come down here and they see what I live in, and they say, wow, you fixed this up really nice. This place looks like a regular home. I says, it is a regular home. It's just that you're paying $70. I says, you know, you put the same apartment up in Manila or something, you could probably get $300 to $500 a month for it, you know. But I mean, you're down here in Tracy, and it's cheaper. But I have everything on this street. I have, you know, the jeepneys go by here. When this street is open, I can get a jeepney right at the top of the hill here, about 100 feet up the hill or whatever. I can go up there and hop on a jeep and get dropped off right in front of my house afterwards. You know, it's really, really nice to have that. A lot of things are changing here. Where the gym down the street here, that has changed. They're fixing it up. They have a restaurant up top now. They're adding additional exercise equipment up there at Titan Fitness down the street here. That's all stuff that's changing here. Things are changing fast because money's coming in here. People are moving to Tracy really, really fast. And I'm seeing a lot of people at the malls and stuff, and I talk to them and I say, hey, you know, what brought you here? Oh, I saw your videos or whatever. Or some people, they had relatives here, or they got married a girl from Tracy or whatever. I've met a lot of people that have come in here because of the channel that I have never met before. I run into them at the malls quite a lot, and these people are coming in here in droves, because every time I go to the mall now, I'm seeing new people there. I mean, heck, you go to Pancake House and you see Pancake House, and there's sometimes, you know, 5 or 6 guys in there sometimes. I've seen as many as 5 or 6 expats in there, and that's kind of surprising. You know, it's surprising to me because it's like, wow, there is a lot of people coming here, and there's people that are moving into these new Hope residences, which are right next to the mall or whatever. That is changing things. Those are high-end apartments. They're about $400 a month, I think, $400 a month, $450 a month with a pool. Everything you need, you can live there, and you can live really, really well. And you're right next to the mall, right next to cinemas, right next to restaurants. Everything's there. The meat market, the vegetable market, the wet market, all right there. Anything you need is within walking distance of Hope Residences here in Tracy. But the other thing is, I noticed that even in places like Tagaytay, a lot of changes are going on. They closed down like some of the restaurants over there, and they're building new ones, better ones. They're building newer things. I noticed that the other day that at Tracy Martira's, they closed down KFC temporarily to renovate it and freshen it up its looks and make it look newer. So money is being spent here very quickly, that usually in a restaurant they would let it run down to the end. And the restaurant, the KFC restaurant here, wasn't really that bad before. It was actually kind of nice looking. I thought it was okay. I didn't see much of a change really, except everything was brand new and they freshened it up a lot. But I mean, and it has like a kind of a fresh new look to it. It looks more modern. But I mean, I didn't see why they had to do that, but they did, and they were willing to spend the money to change it. They changed the tables, they changed the front counter, they put in some of those computers there that you can order on now. So they got rid of some of their help there, saves them some money or whatever, and people messing up orders or whatever. That has made some drastic changes too. I do see a lot of like going to a lot of computer things to order now. Restaurants for a while, even I think it was even at Texas Roadhouse, they had this for a while. They had you ordering on like a tablet, or you could scan things with your phone. They got rid of that. They actually went the opposite way because a lot of people, I think, were complaining or whatever. So I noticed that the changes in some restaurants are going the opposite way because they have the waitresses there to take the orders. So why not have them take and the people there are very good at what they do. I've never had an order messed up at Texas Roadhouse or any of the major Western restaurants. It's only been at McDonald's. And I think it's because a lot of the people that work at those restaurants are more educated. They've been around the block a little bit. They're a little bit older than the people that work at McDonald's, and that has helped them. And they probably worked in the restaurant business before. But these are major changes here that you're going to see when you come to the Philippines. Is when you go right around Manila now, there's always like a big thumping noise around the block, or they're always knocking down a building, or they're building a new building. When I was riding up to Quezon City, I was watching all these buildings, both around the airport and up in Quezon City, and all through Manila that they're putting up. There's tons of buildings going on, banks, industrial complexes and stuff like that, and hotels. And these hotels are actually doing pretty good. I pulled up into a hotel to pick somebody up the other day, and what happened was when I was picking them up, I was looking around and noticing how many people were going in and out there. It was doing really good. It was the whole downstairs was filled up with people sitting there chatting and talking and waiting for cars to pick them up or whatever. Mostly Westerners, some Chinese, Japanese, Korean, stuff like that. There was a lot of people. This is changing the Philippines. Because for the past 5 years, when I first got here, pre-COVID, yeah, there was a lot of people here. But I'll tell you something. I think that, in all honesty, right now, more than ever, I'm seeing people here. We're seeing ships pull in. We've seen the USS America pull in. The USS America dumped off a whole bunch of sailors for 3 days so that they could get some R&R here in Manila. And that has also helped restaurants, Mall of Asia, cars, grabs, taxis, all that stuff also. And that is helping by getting the military back in here. It's going to give us a lot of money. With the Navy pulling in here as a port of call now more often because they're friendlier with the Philippines is also going to help. And also, one of the biggest things in here is this, is that the current administration, I think, we weren't sure what was going to happen. A lot of people are saying, hey, I'm not really sure how this is going to act out, Steve, with this current president. And I says, give the guy a chance and see what happens. That's all we can do. And I'll tell you something, I think most people over here are very happy with the current administration and the way things are going because he's pro-American. He's proved that he's pro-American. Yes, he has to talk with China because China's one of the big players here in Asia, and he still has to do business stuff with them, even though that they've taken over some of the islands and stuff like that. But this current president has been phenomenal. According to all the expats that I talk to, almost all of them say that they're very happy with him. My thoughts on him is he's done a very good job so far. I haven't seen anything wrong. I don't see any major faux pas or anything like that. I actually love the administration. As a person and a resident that lives here, I'm actually kind of happy to have this guy as president right now. And we can't talk too much about politics, but I just want to say I'm happy. I'm happy here with the politics here. I'm happier here than I am with the politics that are going on back home. And that's one of the things that sells me on the Philippines and makes me want to live here. God bless, guys. Take care. And we're going to keep on touching on these changes that are going on. Changes in the Philippines and changes throughout Asia, changes for expats. We're going to touch on a lot of subjects on this changes thing because there's so many things that are changing in the Philippines now. And I don't think a lot of the other expat vloggers are touching on this, and we're going to touch on it. So look forward to having a few more of these in this series on changes. God bless, guys. Take care. I hope you enjoyed today's show.